Alright, y'all, so what's up? It's your girl Tommy, and I'm back to you with another video. And today's video is going to be a story time about basically the first time I got played, like a side chick. So without further ado, let's hop into the video. Alright, so the first time I really got played like the side chick was, I want to say, the summer before my senior year in high school. This was like summer of 2013. So, summer 2013 for me, I had a lot of stuff going on. I was just always like very active. Like that summer, I was like really, really active. Like I just had a lot of stuff going on, just doing a lot. So this dude, I'm gonna call him AB. And AB, his name came from like my little cousin, and that's just a whole nother backstory. But basically, me and AB, we was cool um during the school year. But during the school year, I moved schools from Charleston to Columbia in 2013. And I had met him at the beginning of my junior year when I was still going to school in Charleston. So, we started becoming cool, kicking it, all this other good stuff because we had real, like, mutual friends. Alright, so fast forward into when I moved to Columbia. When I moved to Columbia, I was a new girl at school, didn't really know anybody like that, so I really wasn't, like, talking to nobody like that. Like, some people was, like, talking to me here and there and stuff like that, but really wasn't too deep. So, like, AB and me started, like, texting during that time, when I was going to school in Columbia. So after I had left from school in Charleston, me and him, we started talking, like, not like that, but we were just, like, on a friendly tip and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. Because, like, we fell off for a little minute, and when we fell off, he got a girlfriend and stuff like that, but it didn't matter to me because at that time, I wasn't interested in him like that. So, alright. Now, fast forward into the summer, we get back in contact. And so when we in contact, we hitting each other up via Facebook and stuff like that. So we just talking and stuff. And I'm just like, to him, to AB, and I'm like, okay, well, don't you have a girlfriend? He was like, yeah, but he was telling me, just stuff that was going on in their relationship. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay. And then, like, when we was talking, he was like, oh, me and her, we not together no more, stuff like that. That's what he told me, like I said, in my stupid self. So I thought they wasn't together no more. So then me and him, we started, like, really, like, talking like that. So when we was really talking like that and stuff, like that summer, I was back in Charleston that summer, like I said, because I had a lot of activities and stuff back in Charleston that I had going on. So we was talking real heavy that summer. So when we was talking real heavy that summer, the conversations did start to get a little bit freaky. So we was talking about some stuff. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. We was talking about some stuff, but it wasn't like going nowhere like that. So yeah. So like I said, we was talking about some little stuff. We was just like, okay, all right. So we was just getting that out the way. So we got that stuff out the way, and like I said, we was having decent conversations. And like I said, during the summer, everything was pretty smooth sailing. Like, when I was talking to him, I noticed some red flags, like when he was texting me back slow, and when he wasn't really answering my calls no more. I started to realize some flags, but me being, like, young and naive at that time, because in 2013, I was 16, so, I was just like, all right, like, I ain't gonna press him too much, I ain't gonna sweat him, he probably got a lot of stuff going on, whatever, boom, boom, boom. So, it was one day that we were talking on the phone, and we was trying to, like, he wanted me to link with him, just me and him. So he wanted me to come to his house. He was telling me, oh, my parents ain't gonna be there, blase, blase. And I was like, well, all right, I'll see if somebody can bring me over to your house. We picked a day. We picked, like, a Saturday, early in the day. So I knew my aunt wasn't gonna go for that. She was not about to drop me off at no dude's house when his parents wasn't gonna be there. So I went to my older brother. My older brother at this time was in his, like, late 20s. So I was like, oh, he ain't gonna have a problem with it. He cool. So I hit my brother up. I called my brother and I asked my brother, like, hey, can you drop me off to a friend's house? And he was like, oh, is it your friend that lives where we used to stay at? Off of College Park Road. If you from Charleston, then you know where College Park Road is. But I was like, oh, it's not her, it's a guy friend. And he like, you know, when I tell you it was like all like a skirt, like a hold up kind of moment. He was like, a guy friend? Who is this guy friend? And so I was telling my brother about him and stuff. I was like, oh, AB is this, that, and third. He cool, blase, blase. My brother was like, is his parents gonna be home? And I said, oh no, because like I had no reason to like not tell my brother the truth, because I was like, it's my brother. He was cool. And he was like, oh, his parents ain't gonna be there? Oh, absolutely not. He said, you not going over that boy house. And I was like, why? And he was like, because, Tommy, he said, I was that age once. You know, my brother started spitting some game to me. He was like, I was that age once. He said, I know what's on his mind. He said, and I know what's finna happen. And he said, and I'm not gonna let that happen to you. Shout out to my older brother, because he already knew the signs and the flags, but I wasn't trying to like listen. And he was like, nah. And so I was like, but that's not gonna happen, you know. Like, you know, sex isn't on my mind. He said, it might not be on yours, but it's on his, and da 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 da. So you know me, I was like, all right. So, because, you know, I just thought my older brother was just, like, acting like a parent. I was like, all right. So, I hit back AB, and I told AB, like, hey, my brother said he ain't going for none of that because he thinks he finna have sex and stuff like that. And then AB was like, what? So, he not going to bring you over and none of that? And I said, nah. And I said, my mama ain't going for that, my aunt. So, I said, I don't really know nobody else. Because my older sister wasn't going to go for none of that either. So, he was like, well, dang. And after that conversation, and, you know, those plans fell through, like I said, he started acting real funny. This one I noticed he was, like, real acting funny. He stopped really, like, responding back to me. He stopped, like I said, picking up my calls and stuff. And I was like, did I do something? Like I couldn't think for the life of me what I did to him. And so my cousin had called him off the house phone. You know, back then we were still trapping off the house phone, 2013. So he was like not picking up and stuff. And he was like, yo, bro, don't call me and this, that, and the third. So some time had went by. And, you know, me and AB, we ain't talk like that. So I was like, all right. You know, eventually I got over it and I realized what it was and what his true intentions were. I was like, all right. So then it was one day I had went on Twitter. And this is when I had got my iPhone. So, my mom had got it from me for, you know, about to graduate school, all that good stuff. So, I go on Twitter, and I remembered I was still following him on Twitter. So, you know, I popped up on his Twitter, and I see him tweeting the girl he told me who was his supposed ex. So, I seen that, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm finna be real, real messy. So, I decided to go ahead and get real messy, and I tweeted something that I knew would catch his attention and her attention. So, long story short, you know, she inboxed me on Twitter, and, you know, I still have those old DMs because, yeah, it was funny. Her friend DM'd me first, and then she DM'd me, and it was real, real funny, y'all. Like, after a while, like, me and him, we was going back and forth on Twitter. He was like, you better chill for my girlfriend beat you up, and I was like, oh, now you got a girlfriend all of a sudden. Like, when I tell you, them clapbacks was so real. Them clapbacks was real, y'all. Like, we was going tit for tat, and it was so funny, and his girl was getting a real kick out of this. So when she hit me up, she was kind of like, you know, what happened, you know, tell me everything that was going on between y'all, because he was trying to downplay me like I was just like crazy and real pressed off him, and I was like, no, you're not finna play me like that. So basically I had told her what it was and stuff like that. She still, you know, wasn't sure what to believe. So then I thought about it. Oh, because at the time she asked me for screenshots, and at the time, you know, I had a little Android, and, you know, at the time I didn't know how, your girl did not know how to screenshot on the phone. So I gave her my password to my Facebook messages and stuff, and I told her, go look at my messages. And when she looked at my messages between me and him on Facebook, she was like real, like stuck. She was like, oh my gosh, like, she came back and DM'd me, and she was like, wow, I can't believe he did this to me, blase, blase. why, blah blah blah. And I told her, I told her, like, you know, I just wanted to let you know that I was telling the truth about your dude, and your dude is basically, you know, a cheater. And I said, you know, you don't deserve that, this, that, and the third. You know, I was all for, you know, female empowerment. You know, I'm not gonna come at you because it was his fault, you know, type of vibes. So after that situation, like, I realized, like I said, the situation for what it was. He was only after one thing, and at that time, like, I had been played before, but you know, I was thinking in my head, I was like, you know, what if I really went over his house and, you know, we really actually did something, and then, you know, I would have been looking real stupid after that because of how he played me out. But in my head, I was like, thank goodness, like, we didn't do nothing. And, you know, because, you know, at that time, at 16, I was not looking to have physical relations with nobody. That was the furthest thing from my mind, you know. I was just chilling, you know, going through the motions of being a 16-year-old teenager, stuff like that. Like, my biggest concern was getting my permit so I can start driving and stuff like that. But yeah, so that concludes, y'all, this quick little story time about, like, basically the first time I got played out as the side chick. And honestly, I was like, I didn't really know how to take it. I was just like, wow, he really tried to play me out like a side chick. Like at first I was like, okay, like how am I supposed to take it? But then I was like, you know what, that was my L. So I took that L for what it was.
The most powerful and feared man in the music business.